Okay, so yeah, once again, thank you all for joining this webinar. So today we'll be jumping into the worlds of Elasticsearch and ClickHouse, the two powerful solutions that have changed the way we handle the data. We'll compare their efficiencies, strengths, and weakness, and equip you with valuable insights to make an informed decision when choosing between them. So before we proceed, let me introduce ourselves. So myself, I'm Deepan. I'm a senior product manager here at DoubleCloud. I am responsible for the product and new features here in DoubleCloud. Adam?
Yep, I'm Adam Jennings, a senior solutions architect here at DoubleCloud. Been here about a year, helping customers use the DoubleCloud platform and leverage the tools successfully.
Thanks, Adam. So that DoubleCloud is a platform. It's a managed data platform to build, helping customers to build sub-second analytical solutions on top of the managed open source technologies. So let's proceed. So yeah, the data growth is really exponential. With the statistics, what we see is like the data is growing enormously. And in our data-driven world, the ability to efficiently search and analyze and derive insights from this vast amount of information is paramount. I think this is where the technologies like Elastic and ClickHouse is definitely going to help. So moving ahead on what is Elasticsearch? So Elasticsearch is a distributed system that is built on an Apache Lucene, and it's part of commonly known as ELK stack. It empowers users to harness the full potential of the data by providing a robust search engine. And it also operates on a distributed model, allowing for efficiently processing, analyzing of data across multiple nodes. And furthermore, Elasticsearch utilizes the inverted index, and which sets it apart as an efficient and lightning fast search engine. So by leveraging this indexing technique, it ensures that the search performance is very optimal. And Elasticsearch stores data in a document-oriented format like JSON and provides flexible schemas so that users can send data in JSON format and add some searchable references to it. So these are some of the key highlights of Elasticsearch. And additionally, Elasticsearch also offers a web-based user interface called Kibana, offers unique user-friendly visualization that allows users to easily analyze the data on top of the logs that have been stored. In general, Elasticsearch is used to be built or in use cases like search engine or search related functionalities, analyzing data logs and things like that. Or for example, in terms of to detect anomalies and things, some of the use cases. On the other hand, if you happen to work with data systems and analytical processing solution, you may have come across ClickHouse. So what is ClickHouse? So it is a popular open source analytical data management system. Here I have highlighted some of the features. Let's start with high performance. ClickHouse is definitely specifically designed for high performance analytics. It utilizes columnar storage and data compression techniques, which allow for efficient storage and processing of large volumes of data. ClickHouse can handle billions and millions of rows in sub-second latencies and perform complex analytical queries with more faster response time. It is also scalable, meaning you can add more servers to add increased workloads and data volume. It supports distributed query execution, data replication, allowing you to distribute the data across multiple nodes for improved performance and fault tolerance. It also excels in real-time analytics, making it suitable for application that requires real rapid insights from streaming or time series data. Having said that, it supports built-in support for data ingestions from various sources such as Kafka and Spark, and it makes it efficiently process and analyze those incoming data streams in real time. ClickHouse also supports a SQL syntax, making it easy for SQL savvy developers to write complex analytical queries. In terms of cost, ClickHouse is open source and free to use, which can be a significant advantage from cost perspective. It allows you to avoid expensive license fee associated with proprietary solutions. It is also very flexible in handling various data types, for example, structured, semi-structured, or time series data. It also supports efficient compression algorithms, which furthermore reduces the footprint of storage actually. And there's also like a huge and it's a growing community behind ClickHouse. It just has very active developers and users who contribute to the ClickHouse repo itself. And also it also has this growing ecosystem of support among connectors and including integrations, like as I mentioned about Kafka and Spark. So making it easier for all the data ecosystem to plug in with ClickHouse.
Yeah, deep in on that one, you ever seen those GitHub star charts where that shows, the popularity of products over time? And, when ClickHouse was open source in 2016, starts off slow and then all of a sudden it starts shooting up into the right, as more and more people become aware of how cool ClickHouse is.
Yeah, indeed. So ClickHouse has definitely been that's gained a lot of traction among the community. The reason is, here is the reason. So definitely there's a lot of performance in terms of ClickHouse when comparing with other managed other data stores. And in the recent years, there's also like big different brands that have been moved to ClickHouse. And the reason is because the performance and how optimized the queries are and how it is very, very fast and efficient in that way.
So what's a good reason, or what are some of the benefits of switching to ClickHouse from something like Elastic or one of these other data platforms that you have on the screen?
Yeah, that's a good question. So here's it. So ClickHouse actually stands out for its impressive query performance and ability to handle large data sets under high query loads. So the reason is, with its columnar storage and distributed architecture, it can efficiently process data and deliver fast performance. And it's also open source and free to use, making it no vendor lock-in and also significant advantage in terms of cost perspective. And speaking of cost, it uses less resources, meaning like with features like skipping indexes, and it also has its inbuilt heavy compression technique, which helps to reduce the resource footprint in terms of storage and also computation. SQL is again a huge advantage, making it more easy for developers to query easily among flexibility for analytical scenarios, making it have a wider adoption among the developer community. The indexing capabilities of ClickHouse makes query faster and also, again, uses less resources. So when there's always less resources, it's going to bring down the cost. And it also is very scalable in terms of distributed data across multiple nodes, as in the volume of data expands. So this is also useful. And one of the most powerful feature of materialized view is also very, very useful in ClickHouse. It's like the data is automatically updated in the target table in the materialized view. So you don't need to additionally refresh the data in the materialized view. So this is also quite useful in terms of analytics that you're building on top of your existing source data.
Yeah, if you're coming from another database system, if you think of triggers, that's closer to what ClickHouse materialized views are. So, basically on inserts on that base table, things get automatically replicated to this materialized view so that you can have your data sliced and diced however you need. So with knowing about why you would want to use ClickHouse, so what are some of the use cases or well-known use cases or big brands that are using ClickHouse in place of Elastic?
Yeah. So, well, there's a quite significant big brands that have moved away from Elasticsearch recently to ClickHouse. So here are some of the big brands that have moved, like, for example, Uber, Content Square, and Cloudflare, and there's a lot more. And here I highlighted some of the overall outcome that they have, or the benefits that they have got out of moving to ClickHouse. Overall, what we see is like ClickHouse offers more value for money. It offers faster performance and for less price. It has helped companies to reduce like number of nodes or clusters that they have been managing with the heavy Elasticsearch clusters to when they moved away to ClickHouse. So that has added a significant benefit in terms of cost. Like you can see from here, like Uber has reduced their hardware cost, and also they have increased their performance in terms of the query speed. Content Square's queries it has become like more 10 times faster. So there's definitely like increase in performance, less cost, and there's less operational overhead when they have to manage less number of nodes or clusters.
So these are some awesome, big company use cases out there, and I know there's a bunch more out there. I think eBay has one a blog post about using ClickHouse. There's a couple other companies out there. So those are great for self-managed ClickHouse, but something like DoubleCloud, do we have any successful use cases taking Elastic to ClickHouse?
Yeah, well, so here is one of our use case from a customer called Honeybadger. So Honeybadger is a monitoring solution for customer-facing applications. It's targeted more towards the developers so that they can use the monitoring capabilities. So speed is very essential for them, and to handle different logs and metrics is very, very crucial for them. So they are currently migrating to Elasticsearch, and they're already reaping the benefits in terms of the speed and the number of clusters that they have to manage.
Yeah, and I think a part of that story is they're already familiar with SQL and they're already familiar with ClickHouse, so it makes it so much easier to leverage that one type of data stack.
Yeah, indeed. So it kind of like zeroing in on like one specific solution or technology so that it more makes it more unified. So rather than relying on like multiple pieces of technology, and it's just with SQL, it's more easy for them to just manage everything in one place. Yes.
So are there any use cases where you would want to choose Elastic over ClickHouse, or are we saying that every use case out there can be replaced by ClickHouse?
No, definitely that's not the story. So both of this, like Elasticsearch and ClickHouse, provide like strong tools for handling and analyzing data, but each of them has their own areas of strength. So Elasticsearch remains a good solution if data aggregation involves more searching text, or let's say for scoring or analyzing the text pattern and scoring, because with the help of the inverted indexing that Elastic offers a very, very high performance in terms of search capabilities. So that's kind of, and also the ecosystem of Elasticsearch is very rich in terms of like the integration capabilities that they have been offering. I mean, yeah, Elasticsearch has been in market for quite some time now. So there's always like a significant market adoption, and it's very easy to find resources and support from community. But in conclusion, what I would say is like both ClickHouse and Elasticsearch provides like strong tools for handling, analyzing data. But in terms of, let's say for analytical purposes, I would say ClickHouse definitely has an upper hand over here. And in terms of Elasticsearch, it's mostly for, let's say, for full text search, or like you want to do some scoring patterns on text, or these are the kind of use cases I'd say like Elasticsearch has more upper hand over here.
Yeah, I would second that, and I would say, if you think about when you're scanning data, actually sitting on disk, if you can reduce the amount of data scanned, you're gonna get benefits from ClickHouse. So if you can order your tables and you can structure your data in a way, like say everything is done at the customer, your where clauses always have customer in them. If you set your order by and you sort your data on disk by customer, ClickHouse can skip so much data, and you can get the performance, really, really good performance to outcompete something like Elastic that's going to try to scan everything to find that customer ID. So being smart with how you store your data can give you, the speed and the power of ClickHouse versus a full text search capabilities like Elastic.
Yeah. So having said that, I think what is DoubleCloud and how DoubleCloud fits in all this? So we have been talking about ClickHouse, we have been talking about Elasticsearch. So, but DoubleCloud, we said like ClickHouse is open source and also have clusters to maintain and stuff like that. So, but with DoubleCloud, that makes it more life easy. DoubleCloud provides like managed ClickHouse as a service to simplify and optimize like all the ClickHouse deployments that you have. So we offer like wide range of solution, not just from ClickHouse. We also offered other solutions like managed Kafka, and also we have our own transfer service, which helps customers to pull data from different sources and then move on to ClickHouse for analyzing things like that. We also have our own homegrown visualization tool, which is free, by the way, where we can just beautifully build dashboards on top of existing analytical loads on ClickHouse. Adam, you want to add something on that?
No, I'm just seeing questions come in. So, we can either stay on this slide or we can move into the question slide. And
yeah, let's see.
Yeah, so I see one here. What's the revenue model of ClickHouse considering it's open source? And I think this goes to most of the open source products out there in the market, where the companies either make money on and stay in business by supporting or or by offering managed versions. And we offer a managed version of ClickHouse. There's a couple other ones out there that offer managed versions of ClickHouse. And so I like the adage, the rising tide lifts all boats. So as more and more people become aware of ClickHouse, the ecosystem becomes that much larger to support multiple vendors and multiple customers. There's another question here. Can you elaborate more on what you mean by saying no re-indexing needed? I think that was on the ClickHouse slide, Deepan. That's comparing it to Elastic, where in Elastic, there's a re-index API to re-snapshot your data based on current search patterns. In ClickHouse, because of the way that you structure your tables, it's a little more, schema on write versus schema on read. And so you'll set that data up to be, indexed the correct way to begin with. There's another question here. BigQuery has materialized views as well, which gets periodically cached as a result. Is this any different on ClickHouse? Yes. ClickHouse is basically a trigger on that source table. And so you can create a materialized view based on that. So what you do is you say, hey, watch this base table. Let me look for any changes. Anytime I see a change, an insert or an update, I'm going to move that data and do something with it. I'm going to do some aggregations, or I'm going to, aggregate over 5 minutes instead of 1 minute, or, different things you can do downstream basically as triggers. Elastic comes with a different kind of module plugins. Does ClickHouse provide anything similar? I think a lot of the functionality of ClickHouse is built into base ClickHouse. There's a lot of, it's very active development. So there's a lot of features that are built in, getting closer to ANSI SQL every release, but it has a bunch of cool functions built in, even some machine learning functions. You can do histograms and binning right in the command line at ClickHouse. So a lot of it's built in, but there is a rich ecosystem of connectors and between various sources and syncs.
That's an interesting question. How do I migrate from Elasticsearch to ClickHouse?
I think it depends, right?
Yeah, I would say it totally depends on like use case specific. Let's say like depending on like customers, like what's the workload, and what like if they just, I would say like if they're just starting out and analyzing like Elasticsearch and ClickHouse, I would say it's easy that they can just definitely go and pick ClickHouse. And if they're just starting out with they have their own operational overheads and they have like huge costs that is incurred in Elasticsearch, is definitely, that is something to consider. And it's I would say like case by case. So definitely, if you guys have something, you definitely can reach out to us and we can work together on that specific use case to see how we can successfully migrate it to ClickHouse.
Gotcha. How ClickHouse compares to other real-time analytical engines like Druid. Deepan, you want to take that one?
Yes. So it's I would say, as I said, like there's definitely a lot of different data stores in the market. So I would say it definitely, in terms of performance, and there's also like other inbuilt nitty-gritty features which is having difference. But more on a ClickHouse side, it's mostly specifically focusing on like the faster analytical speeds, and you can also look at the benchmarks to see how it compares. That's kind of an again, we can just drop links on the benchmarks to see how it compares actually.
Do you have the link right now?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it.
Okay. Next question here. What payment subscription model do you have for SaaS based on ClickHouse? How easy to calculate usage? So in DoubleCloud, when we provision the VMs for you, we either do in our sandbox VPC or in your own account. And you'll see we have a pricing calculator right on our website that'll show how much it'll cost based on the size of the machines. So we're not necessarily consumption based. We're resource based. There are, when you think serverless out there in the market, some places are more pay per use, and we're pay for the resources provision. So you can go double.cloud/pricing to see that. Thanks, Deepan. Yeah. And then our application uses Elastic APM, an observability or application performance monitoring tool. is there an equivalent in ClickHouse, or should we disable support if we intend to migrate? I would say if you're migrating, you can do a lot of that same functionality within ClickHouse. There's a couple companies that have spun up to do exactly that, observability or APM, using ClickHouse as the base. If you just do a quick search, you'll find some of those out there. And so, we can support you in that journey, and we can have a further talk about how to migrate some of those APM solutions to a solution like DoubleCloud. I have one here, use the Java API. I'm assuming ClickHouse doesn't have any wire level compatibility when it comes to persisting or querying data. ClickHouse has a lot of wire level compatibility, compatible with MySQL, with Postgres, so you can use those. You can actually use those native wire protocols within either Postgres or MySQL. It has REST endpoints, a native ClickHouse endpoint. So multiple ways to connect to ClickHouse to either insert or otherwise query your data. Another question here. Elasticsearch has Kibana. How's integration with visualization tools with ClickHouse to monitor the results? So because ClickHouse was open source in 2016, it integrates well with most of the common BI tools out there, whether it's a library you install or native. I see a lot of our customers, and even us internally, we dog food. We use Grafana with our ClickHouse. So there is a rich ecosystem of visualization tools that work with ClickHouse.
And to add to that, DoubleCloud also has our own visualization tool, and which is free, by the way. You can just use it on top of the ClickHouse cluster that is on DoubleCloud. So it's very, very tightly integrated.
All right, I see one here. ClickHouse experimental full text search, like this example, merge your family inverted indexes. Do you have the option to run experimental features on your ClickHouse SaaS? Yes. We usually keep up to date with about 3 to 4 weeks behind on whatever the most recent release is of ClickHouse. And so then we'll release it and do our platform once we do some testing and make sure it'll work with our backend. Once we do that, it's available as an option to spin up your clusters or to upgrade your clusters to the newest version. And because we're based completely on the open source version, you'll see those options to do the experimental inverted indexes. I see another question here, Deepan. What are a few examples of ideal workloads for ClickHouse? Do you have an example there?
Yeah, so the ideal use case of workloads for ClickHouse is mainly around like observability. I would say like to process the storage of logs and to visualize them. And also like have customers who say like offload their workloads, let's say from Postgres, and to process their analytical on like much more faster in a way in ClickHouse. So that's also a kind of an use case that we see, like to offload some of their workloads from an OLTP to an ClickHouse data store.
Yeah, I just did a webinar a couple weeks ago on the marriage of Postgres and ClickHouse. So use Postgres for your OLTP workloads, use ClickHouse for your OLAP workloads. So anytime when you need snappy, fast results from your database, I think ClickHouse is a good option. And that could run the gamut from gaming or web clicks. So the name ClickHouse comes from web or Clickstream web warehouse, right? So it's a mash of the two words. And so, anytime where you're thinking anything in real time, whether it's customer facing analytics, web, mobile, gaming, ed tech, it could be, across the spectrum where you can use ClickHouse.
Yeah, you can look into our website for a solutions page where I have listed some of the architectures from different use cases, where I can see one from EdTech, customer-facing analytics as well.
Yep. I see another question here. Cost and licensing are significant factors when choosing a database solution. Can you provide any insights into pricing models and licensing options for Elasticsearch and ClickHouse? Are there any notable differences in terms of cost structure or licensing terms that organizations should consider?
So
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam. It's okay.
No, I just when Elastic changed their license a couple of years ago, is not not necessarily open source, depending on what definition you want to use. So that changed, and there's some forks there and some, some different, and I think ClickHouse has stayed true to the Apache license. And so, you can, if you don't like what DoubleCloud's doing, or you don't like our pricing model, you can always take that and then host it on your own. And so I think that gives more weight to, less vendor lock-in, less ability to, hold your data hostage. Cost structure and licensing, so that's licensing. On cost structure, you can find a multitude of ways of that ClickHouse is structured. I think you can say the same for Elastic. At the end of the day, if you have some type of structure to your data and it's not just document based, you're going to be able to get by with less resources on ClickHouse than you could Elastic. And so you're going to shrink your consumption of resources by switching to something like ClickHouse.
I see there's another interesting question on ChatGPT, recent feature that you launched. Yes, to ChatGPT 4, will the summarization result be cached if the visualization data isn't changing? I would say we are not really storing any data or in terms of cache. It actually comes in from the API request that we send in. So whenever there's a new data that's going to, it's been processed, it's definitely we need to send a new request to get some more insights on the newer data set.
Do we have any other questions? I think I'm scrolling through the questions here, and I think we've answered all of them live.
Yes, I think so too.
Well, thanks for hosting, Deepan.
Yeah. So for anyone who has some other questions, I wanted to jump in a call with us to get some more details on Elasticsearch or any other specific questions related to DoubleCloud. Yeah, here's some information through which you can just book a meeting, or yeah, you can just start using our platform. So yeah, have a nice day, and hope to see you in our other webinar.
All right, thanks, Deepan.
Yeah, thank you.